Hello, and thank you for stopping by to yet another edition of the Massachusetts Whiskey Reviews program of YouTube. My name is Thomas Metal75, and this is your Massachusetts Whiskey Reviews. And today I want to find out if paying a higher price for a Buffalo Trace product is a silly idea or if it's worth your money, comparatively to a lesser priced product that is sometimes on your shelf. More times than not, it will be. Let's do it. Head to head. Blanton's versus Buffalo Trace. Excellent. Let's see if this $100 price point for a Blanton's I paid is worth it, or should I just stick to this $35 in my area bottle of the Buffalo Trace regular batched product. So, a little information about both of these. Let me get out the bottle of the Blanton's itself. Comes in a nice box, as you saw. Has this nice bag that says Blanton's on it that it comes with. Almost reminiscent of what they do with the Crown Royal stuff in Canada. All right. And this bottle was whiskey was dumped on 21st of August 2024 and is 93 proof from barrel number 929 on rick number 52. And for everybody curious, I got a letter N, which makes no difference to me, honestly. And then the Buffalo Trace. Oh, by the way, Blanton's, as all you would know, is a single barrel product, which will vary batch to batch. The only time I've tried the Blanton's before this bottling was from East Coast Liquor Reviews. Thank you, Tanner. Go check out a review of that single barrel. I wasn't too impressed with that one, but let's see how this one holds up. So the Buffalo Trace is 90 proof, and it's not a single barrel. It is a batched product, so just a tiny bit of a proof difference. And I'm going to try to do this as blindly as I can. I have one labeling on the bottom of a Glencairn that says BT for just the Buffalo Trace. And I have another one, I know you can't really read it, that says B for Blanton's. I tried to squiggle out the writing on the other side so I couldn't read that and determine what is what in tasting. So, I'm going to pour hopefully a similar amount, move them around on the table here, and see what we think for the Blanton's. And the Buffalo Trace. I think we're about equal. So let me swirl this around the table. I honestly don't know what's what. I'll be doing some tasting notes, literally taking some notes. And we'll go from there. See if I can do the 10-point or the 6-point rating scale to 100 points. And we'll go from there. All right. Here are the glasses. I'm going to call this glass, glass A, and I'm going to call this glass, glass B. All right, so let's go into glass A and talk about aesthetics and looks, and then go to glass B. Glass A. I'll give 5 points for the bottling because they both look pretty good, and I will keep it an even playing field for that. So nice light caramel, almost honey-like color to this glass. Not a bunch of legs. I wouldn't figure at 100 or at a, that 90 to 93 proof I would get a lot of legs. And on glass B, it may look a touch, I don't know, a touch lighter, but maybe not. I think they're both about average looking. They look about the same, honestly. Nothing to write home about there. So I'll give both a 7 to start. Now let's go into aromas. So on this channel, you get up to 10 points for your looks and aesthetics, up to 20 points for aroma, taste, mouthfeel, and finish, and then another 10 points for the value. So I'm going to give I'm probably going to go, I don't know how I'm going to do the value. Well, think about this, people. What would I be comfortable paying? And what do I think the value, how the value would be for that? Yeah, maybe. All right, so let's do aroma on glass A. So glass A, it's very sweet. It's got a lighter citrus, or not citrus, it's got a lighter apple-y note, maybe. Sugars, caramels, vanillas, cinnamon, baking spice. There might be a touch of a cinnamon roll in there. That's nice. Let's go to glass B. Let me hold my hand over this so I don't read what it is. Ooh, there's a touch of a honey-like sweetness to this one that I wasn't getting on glass, that I was not getting on glass A. Yeah, there's a honey-like sweetness. There's a vanilla cream sweetness to this. Honeycomb. It's more of a floral note to it. Lots of cinnamon and baking spice and vanillas. And vanilla cream and custard notes. All right, glass B is going to get a... That was really, really, really nice. Not a huge depth of notes from the aroma. There's not a complex note to either one of these, but the more complex was B. Had better, sweeter, honeyed-like notes, and the other one, this glass A over here, was just more simplistic notes on the aroma, and more typical to, what you think of bourbon as. So I'm going to give glass B a 18. That was a really nice aroma. And I'm going to give glass B is going to get the 18. Glass A is going to get let's go with a 16? Sure. Now let's go into the taste. Glass A. Salud. Nice caramels. There's a little bit of a toffee-like sweetness. Baking spices, vanillas, cinnamon notes. Got a little bit of water here. Yeah, baking spice, cinnamon, vanilla. A tiny little sharpness from alcohol, not bad. Just a sweet, classic tasting bourbon through and through. All right, maybe some apple-y notes in there too, or some orchard fruits. Let's go to glass B. Ooh. Much bigger toffees, much bigger caramels. More of a cinnamon roll bakery essence from Glass B. Honey notes. Very nice. I think the aroma was better than the taste. Honestly, on Glass B, I'm going to give that a 17 on Glass B. Let's go back to some water and then Glass A. Not as rich in the vanilla. There was some honey notes in Glass B, just like in the aroma. I'm not really getting that in Glass A. It's a lighter viscosity. We'll get to that in the mouthfeel, but it's a lighter viscosity. It's more simple notes out of Glass A. So I'm going to say Glass B was a 17. I'm going to stick with the 16, just like on the aroma. You know what? I may go down to 15. 15 on taste for Glass A, 17 for Glass B. All right, now let's go into mouthfeel. I think we already determined that this here Glass B has got the better mouthfeel and texture, but we will see. Glass A. I'm running out of Glass A. I gotta be careful. Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit of an oily viscosity to it. Not really much. It's a little bit thin on the palate. Honestly, it's not super watery. I would say it's on the lighter side of like a medium kind of a mouthfeel. Let's take one more sip of that. There is a little bit of a spice note in there. Interesting. I do like that spice note all of a sudden. But yeah, a thinner mouthfeel for a whiskey. I like a heavier, bolder mouthfeel. So I'm going to give that a... let's start with a 15 and go from there. And on Glass B, for your mouthfeel, bigger mouthfeel. It's a little bit richer. There's more of that honey-like viscosity to it. Not a super thick, oily mouthfeel at all. No, but retains more oily notes to it. So Glass A got a 15. I will give Glass B a 16 on the mouthfeel. It's still pretty thin. I mean, it is 90 proof versus a 93 proof, so what are you expecting in mouthfeel territory, honestly? Let's go into the finishing notes. It's a little bit of Glass A left. It finishes with a spicier texture. Now, I think both of these whiskeys from the Buffalo Trace Distillery are considered their mash bill number 1, which are lower rye content. So I'm not really expecting to get spice from rye, honestly. Or it's not predominantly coming from rye. But yeah, I'm getting the vanilla and some maybe wood spice. It's not super long of a finish. I think it kind of falls a little flat on its behind. Honestly, on the finish, that's one of my least favorite parts of the whiskey. It doesn't fall off a cliff necessarily, but it's short-lived and doesn't do much. So I'm going to give that a 14 as of right now. And on glass B, much more of that wood spice, if that's where it's coming from. More vanilla, more honey-like sweetness. We compare to glass A. There's a little more of a sharpness to glass A than glass B, just in alcohol alone. The finish on glass B is pretty long-lasting, honestly. Longer lasting. Much more of that honey and vanilla cream is not a creamy whiskey, I suppose, but it's reminding me of vanilla cream and some honey notes, and that spice is really lingering on for a longer period of time. Still, I would say to both whiskeys, the finish is probably my least favorite aspect to it. So I'm going to give the finish so we got a 14 on the glass A. I'm going to give this one 15. And value, I have no idea what to value because one costs $35 and the other's supposed to be around what, 60, 65, and this is $100. I can already tell you right now that Blanton's single barrel bourbon whiskey is a ridiculously horrible value when it comes to what most liquor stores are going to be charging this day and age. I'm just going to give 5s across the board. I don't know how to describe that rating, but or how to give a number for that when I'm trying to blindly rate these things. But for glass A, I would be happier, and cheers, we're almost done. That wasn't much left. So I paid $35. I think 25 to 30. No more than 40. I think 25 to 30 would be a better price point. And I think for glass B, a little bit left. It is a better whiskey. Entirely a better bourbon than glass A. Let me get the calculator out so we can put these scores together. I think for glass B, though, I think for glass B, I would be willing to spend between $40 and $50 for that. I don't think whichever one happens to be Buffalo or happens to be the Blanton's bottle, I don't think $100 is worth it. I don't think you spending over 70 to $80 is worth it on that bottle. No way. So, overall thoughts as we try to wrap this up here. Glass A overall was a light, thinner, easy drinking whiskey. Not much mouthfeel, not super amounts of viscosity, but classical classical bourbon in general notes. Baking spices, vanillas. There's nothing in here. Just a nice, sweeter overall whiskey. So if you're looking for sweetness, glass A without a lot of proof to it, is going to be a good whiskey. In glass B, let me see if I have anything left. Just a little bit. Much richer and fuller in the mouthfeel. Not that it is a super rich or full mouthfeel. The sweetness is intensified in this particular glass. And I like that mouthfeel a little better here. It's got more of that honey-esque kind of a viscosity to it. So let me put the numbers together. I would say probably, well, yeah, the numbers are leaning towards glass B, but let me let you know the actual score. So we have for glass A, we have I contemplated going up to a 16. I think I probably will. So we have and 5 will be just for the value on both whiskeys. Let me tabulate the score on glass B. Let me tabulate this again. It's not even close, folks. All right. So, and I'm going to guess now that glass A is probably Buffalo Trace. And glass B is probably your Blanton's single barrel. Glass A with a score of 63 is Buffalo Trace, which does mean the better scoring, better tasting whiskey is the Blantons. What has this experiment told me? Well, 78 for the Blantons and 63 points overall for today for the Blantons, or for the Buffalo Trace. 63, 78 for the Buffalo. 63 is Buffalo Trace. Blanton's is 78. Thank you very much. All right. And what has this experiment told me? It told me that I don't think Blanton's original single barrel bourbon whiskey is worth anything more than its MSRP of about $60 to $65. People that want you to spend well over $100 for a bottle of Blanton's can get out of town on that one. Even though this got a marginally worse score, honestly, than Blanton's, I think this is the better bottle overall for its in its price bracket is what I'm getting at. You're hard pressed to find a better bottle, honestly. If you want just classical bourbon notes, lower proof, and you don't want to spend a lot of money, Buffalo Trace does just fine at $35 in my area. I wouldn't spend more than $40 on it. I probably don't want to spend more than $40 on it. And what else can I tell you? Just a better value. Don't spend your money on Blanton's, people. Unless you can get it for MSRP, which no one would sell it for that. I did like the Blanton's here. Much better than I previously did in my review of the sample that Tanner, East Coast Liquor Reviews, gave me, so I thank you for that, Tanner. I realize this was a longer video, so if you stuck around till the end, I appreciate that one. Yeah, Blanton's versus Buffalo Trace. Yeah. The winner for taste goes to Blanton's. But I honestly think overall, I would, more times than not, go with the Buffalo Trace. So, if you had these bottles, have you spent too much money on a bottle of Blanton's and regretted it? What do you think of Blanton's single barrel overall? What do you think of Buffalo Trace overall? What would you spend on these bottles? Do you think the hype's worth it for the Blanton's? Let us know in the comments section below. And until next time, keep tasting those great whiskeys and bourbons. Cheers, and I'll see you soon.